everybody, and welcome to Not the Academy. I'm James Edward Holly.
And I'm Ashley Stennett.
And we get to welcome a guest this evening for the first time. We actually picked this guest for a couple of reasons. Guys, this is Kadin Tooley. And Kadin is a recent graduate of where?
Marshall University.
Tell everybody what your degree is in.
So I got a degree in video production, Marshall University. It's under the art program, so I was the art side of video production.
This guy has an eye for movies, not like anything, but he's an old soul. You know, people his age don't see the way he sees, and it's really awesome. And we just got to go to a premiere of one of your movies.
Totally. So, I just premiered a film. It was my capstone film at Marshall University. Premiered it at Pullman Square here in Huntington. It was an awesome night. It showed online.
Place was packed.
It was. And I was just super grateful to be able to show it there and have the turnout that I did. So.
Well, it was a really good movie. And
I'll can I jump in here and make a prediction?
What's that?
That was the first premiere of many, many more.
Oh, yeah.
With Kadin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say that. So
what we're going to talk about tonight is our favorite independent films, and it just so happens that the three of us are working together on an independent film called The Good Fight, and we wanted Kadin specifically because of his eye, the way that he sees things, the way that he looks at the film and the project, and some of the chances he takes, the movement in your films are what I think the most. And so, but before we get into The Good Fight, let's talk about our favorite independent films. First off, I'll quiz you.
Oh.
I can do this because we're best friends, and we can always edit it out if it sounds silly. But
I always get quizzed.
Tell me, what is the difference between a regular Hollywood film and an independent film?
I think the big glaring difference comes down to one word, and that's studio.
I thought you were going to say money.
Well, that ties into
Definitely.
that. It ties into that, right?
Connected, yeah.
The studio, the quote unquote the big studios. Independent films, and Kadin, you can hop in here too. Independent films can come in all shapes and sizes, budget wise. Anything from what they call no budget, which could be anything from a school project to collegiate level, like a capstone project. Or even like a group of amateurs of any age.
We know all about that, don't we?
Could be, yeah, that's right. Could be no budget. Deadline did have a budget though. I drop in Deadline here.
Kadin was the director of photography for Deadline.
But no budget, low budget, and what we would consider a high budget, like a Passion of the Christ, or an Apocalypto, or something like that. So basically, you're just kind of disconnected from a big studio like Universal, Paramount, Warner Brothers.
Totally. I mean, it comes down to backing, right? Like, so if you have anybody, an independent film could have an investor or could have a budget, like you said, but it has to do with backing, be it from a studio or from we'll use the term higher power in this situation, that has distribution in mind. So it's the eventual outcome of the film.
When I think of an independent film, I think of people funding an artist that they trust, and they say, here's my money, I trust that you're going to do the right thing. Obviously, I love something that Denzel Washington said years ago, and I'll never forget it. He said, show business. Without business, there is no show. So you might not ever get a movie made in Hollywood, but if you can find enough backers, it's like our Indiegogo page that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We're raising money for The Good Fight. Well, we're not trying to get rich off of this movie. We're trying to make a good quality faith-based film. And it takes about $30,000. So if you go to Indiegogo and you give $5, it's going towards that. Well, Hollywood can't do that with union fees and some of the requirements that are on them. And so when people give you their money and they say, I trust that you're going to do with it what you're supposed to do with it, you're going to make good art, and then you got to find an independent distributor, because 9 times out of 10, if you're not working with a studio, distribution is really tough. So it's a big deal, because then when people say this is a successful independent film, you have to understand what a monumentous thing that is. Did I say that right? Monumentous? Monumental,
like
at least.
like
It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge thing that is for them to overcome. And so with that being said, What are y'all's favorite independent films?
Guests first.
Am I going first? Okay.
Yeah, you just rifle them off.
Cool,
What's
cool.
What's your top 3 favorite independent?
I want to know what they are, and I want to know why.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So number 1, Napoleon Dynamite.
That's a great
yeah.
one.
It's an amazing film.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. I've seen it so much just because I came out. I was watching movies around the time that it came out when I was younger. So I love it because it's a showcase of what can be done on a budget, right?
Yeah.
And where the outcome can go, the potential of a film if you make it on a budget with the people that are passionate about making things, with your friends. The way it originated at a small town and then just
Exploded.
we all know what it is, right?
Yeah.
And that's just a testament to
Everybody knows vote for Pedro.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Everybody
The
knows
buttons, the shirts.
Yep.
Yeah,
totally.
And ligers. Everybody knows what a liger is.
Yeah. So it's legendary. My next one, and we were talking a little bit about it. Evil Dead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
classic.
Horror film, late 70s, I believe, and it again is a testament to one camera. A bunch of blood.
Yeah.
You have the story that you like, and it becomes one of the greatest cult classics of all time.
One of our best friends is Sam Hodge, and he adores everything about that movie.
Yeah.
And it's fun fact. We were talking because that's actually one of my favorite movies too, and we were talking about how they reading up on how they did some of those special effects, and I think for the scenes, the demon movement, it was like a dirt bike. That audio's like a dirt bike slowed down, I think.
Yeah. And
it's just crazy. It's guerrilla filmmaking.
Totally. And the camera movements are completely non-conventional. In fact, that first person camera move is attributed to Sam Raimi. That's
really?
Because he was just one of the first to do it.
Yeah.
Because of the budget limits of the size camera they were using. So super cool. Love Evil Dead. It's awesome. 2 sequels as well.
Yeah.
So, and my last one's a short film. You may or may not have seen it. It's called Thunder Road. It's a 12-minute short
You mentioned that
film.
before, and I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
So it's a good example of a short film that got purchased at a festival and was made into a feature. So it was a Sundance. It screened at Sundance and was purchased and made into a feature. But it's a 12-minute short film, all one shot, about a cop at a funeral.
Okay, that reminds me of one of your favorites, and I won't give it away. But I watched it as a black and white short. It won some festivals. Next thing you know, it's blowing everybody away at the Oscars.
Well, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So does that mean it's my turn?
It means it's your turn, yeah.
So do I have to go in order 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3?
Whatever you want to do, man.
Well, my top 3 is Fargo.
Oh, it's a
Quirky, dark comedy. It really kind of set the tone for that.
Man, it had some great people in it.
And it's funny because 2 of the 3 that I'm naming are huge independent films in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So I'll go ahead and hop to the other one, which is one of my all-time favorites. Put Billy Bob Thornton on the map with the tater tots, Sling Blade.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's an incredible movie. John Ritter, he's amazing in that.
Everybody in it was great.
Yeah.
And you find out Dwight Yoakam is the bad guy.
Well, here's what I love about Sling Blade. I love about Sling Blade because they go to Billy Bob Thornton's hometown. They put so many locals in that film. The guy that owns kind of that machine shop, he's just a local high school football announcer.
Yeah.
They put a lot of people who were not trained actors in the movie, and I love that.
So what you're saying is that you can make a local movie with local people.
Yeah.
And it's good for the local economy, and you can get good performances out of it.
Who else is doing that?
Who else is doing that?
I know, right? And a tribute to horror, and my dad will appreciate this. My favorite independent film of all time, classic 60s, it set the tone for horror movies for forever, is George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Pittsburgh, it's gritty. It's just, I can watch it right now, and I'm just enamored on that film, Night of the Living Dead.
I'm kind of the guy out in left field. I don't know that I have any top 5 any kind of movies that are horror. I like them.
Yeah, you kind of.
I like The Conjuring, but when I'm watching The Conjuring 2, I didn't like it because it was a scary movie. I thought the performances were just so good. I love to watch a really good actor, and that movie had so many.
Oh, I mean, that's the elite,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much top of the top. I mean, as far as quality,
Yeah.
a lot of people would say.
So
What about you? What's your favorite independent film? Your three.
okay, I've been going back and forth on this one. I think my number 3 is The Usual Suspects. I couldn't believe it. Actually, I was doing a little research for this. I didn't know The Usual Suspects was an independent film.
Yeah.
And it's another one where the performances are just ridiculous. They're so good. And I think after that, it would be Little Miss Sunshine. That's kind of, I'm in a tie right now. I'm going to cheat and give you 4. I also like Memento, because I thought Memento, it's an excellent movie, but it looks like a Hollywood movie.
Totally.
And it's because it's when we all got introduced to Christopher Nolan.
Masterclass.
And what he can do. And what he can do with no budget, but nothing like what he had for Inception and Dark Knight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My number 1 favorite independent film is Pulp Fiction. I think Tarantino changed movies forever with that one. And I'll never forget when it first came out, and half the people that went and saw it hated it. Half the people loved it. And it's kind of the same thing he did with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's polarizing, and I just love the way that guy tells a story with a wide lens. Not very many people can lock a wide lens onto 3 or 4 actors for 7 or 8 minutes and not lose your attention.
Yeah.
But he can do it. So that's my favorite.
It's like a film like that, James, is like, so that's like I'll use, it's a film school film, right? You see, you go to a film major's house and it's on their wall, the poster Pulp Fiction on their wall. So for me, it's a little, I've seen it so many times.
Sure.
Right? But you look at it again and you really, like you said, it changed movies because it told a story in a non-linear way. It told a story in a way that not a lot of movies were telling stories at the time, hence the name, right? Pulp.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a good transition to, I want to brag on you for a minute. Just real quickly, kind of walk us through your process, because I know you had mentioned to me a while back, you said, you are literally a student. You sit down and take notes, and you were talking about how you've pretty much immersed yourself into boxing films. Explain that, though. Your creativity, like James said, you have that natural gift. I know you went to school, but a lot of what you know, it's hard to learn that.
You went to school to hone a natural talent.
Yeah, exactly. So, real quickly, without giving away all your trade secrets, so what's your
how do you prepare?
The process? How does Kadin Tooley prepare?
So, I'll quote Tarantino. It's a good segue. Tarantino said that he's famous for saying, "I don't need film school because I was going to film school since I went to the theater."
Right.
And that's like a really epic way of saying that movies have a language, right? And we have to learn it. And going to school for film helps you learn that in an exaggerated rate. So it helps you get reference. People throw films at you, go watch these are good. And you do, and you kind of learn to tell stories and learn to see stories in a way that you really didn't before. So you mentioned boxing films, so as I'm prepping for a film, I'm watching films that feel like the one that I'm going to shoot. And some people would say that they wouldn't like to do that. A lot of cinematographers look at paintings, look at photographs. There's a lot of different references that people pull, but I think I'm making a movie. I have to be conscious of movies that have been made like the one I'm trying to tell.
Sure.
So that's what I'll do, right? I'll watch, I'll look for things, I'll look for iconography visually. We'll use boxing, for example. You got to watch boxing, right?
Yeah.
Boxing matches are shot a specific way. So just by entering that space, you automatically, the audience enters, I'm watching a boxing match.
Do you find yourself listening over and over and over again to the song "There's No Easy Way Out"?
It's on repeat. Yeah.
It's funny that you would talk about the. I hate this guy. I don't even know why we're friends. But
That's a legendary song, man.
It is.
And I hear that, I want to run through a wall.
Right?
I'm like, I still cry when Apollo got killed.
You still cry.
Yeah, it bothers me real bad. I'm actually getting worked up right now. It bothers me.
Spoilers.
When we were at dinner the other night, you were talking about something you just said when you watch boxing because it's shot a specific way. You said that about football.
Yeah.
You said you watch football to see how they shoot it.
Totally. Yeah. It's. There's the budget's limitless there, right? So they're able to do things and use equipment and in a way that nothing else can, and not even some movies can,
Right.
because of the budget that the NFL has. So
Let me ask you this: what did you use as a muse or reference material for your movie Exodus?
Okay, yeah. So essentially, the film's a Western. So I watched a lot of Westerns, but Westerns with a little bit more grit. So there's a movie called Logan Lucky. It's Channing Tatum, Adam Driver. It's about some guys from West Virginia, actually, that go and rob a NASCAR track. So it's tonally, it's goofy, but it has a grit, it has a realism, and the performances are great. So that was one. There's a movie called Hell or High Water.
Love that movie. That's a great movie.
That's a great movie.
One of my top favorites of all time, and it couldn't help but reference Exodus just because of the two leads and the way that they interact with each other, and the way that they're kind of brotherly but then kind of enemies at times. It's really interesting. So I would say those two films, and then pulling from just classic Western iconography and how I can use this area, this state, and kind of merge those. So.
All right, we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. We're going to take this opportunity and show you the trailer for Exodus. I was privileged enough to see it at the premiere, and also had about a 3-minute roll in it, which I appreciated. And but yeah, here's the trailer for Exodus. Look, son, I know this has been hard on you. It's a rough time. The word you gave at your father's funeral, that was fine.
Bill, I just don't get it. I mean, 30,000 on this guy? Can't no good old boy bring him to justice?
You take a good look at the mess
You're building the loans too much. Not to even get started on the debt. And you, I'm begging you to make a way for me.
I need to confess. I was gonna do one last job. Heist a big bank, and then I was gonna take all the money and head on down to New Orleans.
You need a getaway driver.
I was hoping to be on my own.
No, I'll do it.
I keep my eyes to the sky, don't stop for anything.
I want you to get Lincoln County, Cabell County, any other PD on 35. We are going to corner that old Ritter in part, like the sorry dog he is.
You needed a driver. Heck, without me, you'd be neck deep in trouble right now.
Newsflash, Billy Graham. We're already neck deep in trouble.
Ah! You're a coward! Say, who's your friend? He's tired.
Listen, everybody, we've had a blast with Kadin today. We would like to know, what are your favorite independent films? And so by all means, comment, share, and let us know. Yeah, and this was fun.
Absolutely.
Go to
Thank you so
Indiegogo, support the good fight. These three guys, we're going to be trying to make the best possible movie on the least bit of money that we can. And you can be a part of it. We would like you to be a part of it. Again, thank you for joining us for Not the Academy.